In this part 2 section, we are on the payroll tab now. I want to talk about formatting numbers. You're doing a payroll. I'm going to talk a little bit about formulas. For example, I want all this money here, or the rate here, to look like currency. I highlight with a white cross. All I do is I go on the Home tab, I click on the dollar sign. It's done. I want to make these numbers look like percents. Again, I highlight these three numbers. I click on the percent sign here, but I need decimal points. It has rounded this up. We're in this group here, the number group here. You can also, I'm just going to do a couple of quick undos. I could click inside here next to general. I could go into percent. That gives me two decimals. In some cases, this would be a poor example. You want to reduce the decimals. I click here. I would want two decimals. Next thing here. I want everything to be consistent with decimal points here. And all I do, it gets a little tricky, but it's pretty easy. I click on it once. I now have three. I just decrease. Everything is consistent. The other way I could also do it, I could click on the comma, what it assumes. And that is if you have thousands, and let's say we've got a budget, we type in budget here, and let's say it's 25,000. It's saying percent here. I did not mean for this to happen, but I want you to know about this. It looks funky. 1 equals 100% equals $1. I'm just going to click right on here. I click on the comma. It's $250, okay? But let's say I just go in here and type in $250,000 again, or $2,500,000. I'm getting railroad tracks. It's too narrow. We widen the column. You got two ways of doing this. You could click and pull it over, which is good, or you could just double click on the vertical line between the B and the C. So make sure you know where to increase, decrease decimals. I don't want them in there. You can also, if you're formatting a number, I right click inside the cell. I left click on format cells. I click on number. Gives you a whole bunch of choices with date, time, currency. And if it's a negative number, you can make it look red. If I click on there, it's going to show it that way. But let's say I go here, hit a minus sign here. That right click is a great way here. Even if you're formatting, if I just want borders here, I can right click here. I could have gone up here to do this. I can also click on format cells, and it goes into these tabs here. Border, where I could say inside, outside. I could change the color, but I should have clicked on that first, and then I could make it thicker. Lots of options in here, but again, you've got to click on that first, and I say okay. So you've got the border in there. I'm just going to undo that. Other thing too I want to talk about here, I want to talk a little bit about formulas. You want to know the gross pay. You have to multiply the 32 hours times the hourly rate. To do a formula, press the equal sign, turns on the calculator. I talk about select and do. I click inside here. I multiply with the asterisk. I can check off here. That's giving me the gross pay. It's not formatted the way I like. Dollar sign. I want to pull it down. If I'm doing the formula here, I want to have it in every row. You can copy. You have that black cross here. Hold the clicker down. Pull it down. Everybody, we know their pay in there. Okay, I want to talk about printing and stuff. You're printing out a document. Let's say you want this to be landscape. You would click on the page layout tab, orientation, landscape. Doesn't show anything here. However, I'm just going to do an undo. I'm in the print preview. It's showing this as a landscape right now. However, if I go into orientation, portrait, Control P, I'm in the print preview. I can click in here into page setup. And I can make it landscape here. You could say fit to page. If they say scale it to 90%, you click there. Go out of this here. Now let's say they decide they want to add another sheet here. You look at the very bottom of the screen. Do you see a plus sign? You've got a new blank sheet. You could also do this on the Home tab. Insert sheet. Or, believe it or not, you could right click inside here and you could say insert worksheet. 3 different ways of doing it. Now, let's say I want to move some data from one page to the other. For example, I've got this payroll here. I want this literally on sheet 4. What I could do, I want this stuff moved over here. I highlight these cells. You cut. You could click on the scissors, Control X, or right click, cut. I go into sheet 4. I'm in that cell there. It says at the bottom here, select enter, select destination and press enter or choose paste. I could click on the paste right here. It's in there. Railroad tracks means it's too narrow. I want to make the sheet a little larger. Go into the lower right hand corner where you see 100% or a number there. I hit the plus sign a couple times. It doesn't print any larger. I go back to the payroll page. It is emptied out. And let's say we have this sheet 4 here. This is very confidential information. We don't want people knowing about it. To hide it, you right click on it. You left click on hide. But let's say it's a couple of weeks later, you need that information. You could right click any place here, say on hide, choose that sheet, say OK. And we were talking about protecting sheets and workbooks. That was number 17 on this list here. Again, that's on the review. Protect sheet. I talked about this before.